we have the women's organizations who are present here, organizations, rights organizations, civil society members, and concerned individuals have all come together to raise our voice against the sexual violence that took place in Manipur. We together are calling for a protest on August 12 at Azad Maidan at 3:30 p.m. and appeal to all the citizens to participate in the protest. See, every time we stand up for the rights of women and protest the acts of violence, we are exercising pressure on the government to put mechanisms in place to prevent violence against women and ensure human rights. The Manipur sexual violence has jolted all of us at the horrendous crimes against women, gross violations of human rights, the large involvement of people using sexual violence against women as a tool to settle scores, violence against minorities, and the state administration has been complicit in the escalation of the crimes, leading to more rapes, death, burning of homes and businesses, schools, churches, places of worship, depriving people of home, education, livelihood, medical care. Here, both the communities, all the communities are suffering, the minorities being worst affected. We appeal to all, whether they are students, women, organizations, civil society members, to take part in stopping this violence and ensuring peace. Please join the protest at Azad Maidan on 12th August at 3:30 p.m. We demand speedy justice for victims and survivors. The Supreme Court should appoint a body to register complaints, provide all the support to victims to ensure speedy justice and all human rights. Right now the Supreme Court is seized with the matter and we want Supreme Court to hasten the process. Prevent violence and ensure communal harmony. There have been Supreme Court guidelines to ensure communal harmony, like forming committees to carry out various tasks, and that should be put on fast track. And we demand the intervention by the President and Supreme Court to ensure that there is governance. We have seen the complete failure of state government to stop the violence in Manipur and crimes against women. I now request Caroline to point out what is happening in Manipur and why we need to come forward to support the people of Manipur to ensure justice.
So the situation in Manipur is far from over. There has been good interventions from the Supreme Court, but as we are seeing, the interventions has brought in some amount of relief. But if and unless the state is really interested in bringing the culprits to book, you will have cases where the victim is telling the police in her complaint, what we've heard, that the police in fact led her to the mob, and yet that statement of the police officer was yet to be recorded. There are many complaints that have not even come before the police, forget about registration of an FIR. After the FIR, of course, we wanted to see that the charge sheets are made watertight so that ultimately it leads and culminates to convictions in cases that are fit for such convictions. The situation on the ground when I visited Manipur is that there is a lot of fear still. There is still so much of uncertainty. The camps are still filled, and as usual in any kind of a violence or in situations of war, it is the women and children who face the biggest brunt. And therefore it is in this context that those issues of women often get sidelined. Because while people's homes are destroyed and loss of livelihoods and loss of kin, in the homes, in the relief camps itself, women, there are like women who have given birth, so shortage of baby food and stuff like this. There are lots of young girls who need basic things like sanitary napkins. There are babies who need baby food. there is a complete lack of privacy. There is complete inadequate water supplies which are required for cases like women and babies. So it's in all of these kind of situations that we've noticed that women always face the biggest brunt, whether it is in relief camps or even on the ground. Now we are here and we still feel that there is so much more that needs to be done, that so much more needs to be focused, because justice for all and justice for the ones who have lodged the complaint is something that we would like to see, that from start to end there is no state complicity in what we've already seen happening, that it reaches its logical conclusion.
We are fighting for communal harmony and we are fighting for safety of our women. I have come to know that there are guidelines that have been issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs, and this is in the year 2008. And the guidelines are for prevention of anything like this happening in the state. The guidelines are very clear. The Chief Minister of the state is responsible for seeing that this does not happen, because prevention is very important. Afterwards, trying to manage it is a little difficult. So we also need to see that all these guidelines are followed. There's no point in just having guidelines and then the guidelines remaining in a file in a cupboard. This has to be followed, and we would like to see that this is followed in every state of India, so we have no problems. Nobody wants this communal unrest. Nobody wants our women to be treated this way. So I would appeal to the chief ministers of all the states to just see that these guidelines are followed properly.
Myself, Advocate Harsha. It was not possible for us to call everyone in a short span of time, but since because of the time factor, on behalf of entire the organization, it's a humble request and appeal I would like to make for all the, especially for the youngsters and the students, to remain present for this rally, for this protest on 12th August at Azad Maidan at 3:30 p.m. Because whatever has happened, it's really shocking, and we don't want that any part of the world should experience such a thing again. So I think for the, as far as I'm concerned, I think for the first time I'm coming and I'm making this statement before the press that please everyone participate in this rally, in this protest, because we have to support these victims, we have to support all these survivors. So thank you.